Hello.
I'm great.
It's really hard to stand there for 5 minutes while someone is talking about you. However generously, thank you, Dr. Karim. Thank you, Dr. Ruta. And thank you, everyone at Carleton. I hope I haven't lost my glasses. No. Well, you're an awesome sight. A room full of possibilities, of 1,000 adventures poised to be launched. And it's appropriate, before you embark on these journeys, that we pause to measure what brought each one of you here to this place at this time. Much of it, of course, was your own energy and dedication, for which you deserve a sense of deep satisfaction today. But you are in this place at this time because you have been invested with the dreams and hopes of others who have sacrificed so much for the privilege of watching you walk on the stage today. You represent the hopes of a generation of men and women, your parents and your loved ones, who worked for years to make this day possible for you, and for whom this is a landmark in their lives as well. You bear on your shoulders their dreams as well as your own. I was going to invite you at this point to stand up and applaud them, but my thunder was stolen 10 minutes ago. I can, however, propose this. This is a moment of deep satisfaction for those who guided you on this journey, for a professor, a teaching assistant, a librarian. This is a moment central to their lives, too. It can be a poignant time for them, too. They live a life measured in goodbyes. Because if they've done their job right, you will leave. And for many of them, this is an emotional day, too. I invite you to applaud those who taught you and guided you in the years that brought you here. It is also appropriate to speak of those who will follow you, the next generation of students, because I think you have a responsibility to them too. As you know, it is very hard to be a student today, easier than in my day. Most of them will be saddled with crippling debt when they graduate or go to postgraduate studies. Fees and costs are rising. They should not be rising. This society must come one day soon to accept that higher education is not a privilege, but a responsibility that we have to each other. Just like medical care, it is a responsibility we have to each other. More than that, it is a fundamental civil right. Our post-secondary education system in Canada is becoming increasingly commercialized. Universities and colleges are often driven to corporate begging because of provincial and federal neglect. The endowment of institutions of learning should not be dependent on corporate largesse, as grateful as we are for it. There will never be a faculty of history or philosophy in such a world. The contents of our libraries and the diversities of our departments and of our teachers should not be determined largely or significantly by market values. I also worry about those who follow you because of the social message that is increasingly adapt to the marketplace. Prepare yourself to compete for a slot in an industry. It is important to be practical, but we are cowing the students of tomorrow into shortchanging their dreams in order to become cogs in a machinery of marketing and mass consumption. The next generation will probably never have a pension. You might not. They have been taught that no company or institution will be loyal to them, so don't bother being loyal to that institution or that company. Every man, every woman for themselves in a Darwinian global race. A race for what? The point of higher education is to foster a searching and creative mind and to nourish, above all, imagination. These are not luxuries. These are the very assets that a nation needs. We want critical, imaginative, informed citizens. These ideas are not radical. The man elected President of the United States this week has these ideas as a major part of his platform, that if you perform national service, you will be guaranteed higher education. Let's talk about public service. Remember that you represent today the investment and hope of your society, your country. You are the nation's strategic investment in the future. You are the heirs of a peaceful nation of civil values. The preservation of these values and that national civility now is in your hands. Your life, if you live it well, will be measured by what you have done in the service of others, in the service of our values. The stories worth telling in the twilight of your lives will be the stories of battles fought in the betterment of the human condition. The moment that seized the global imagination in Chicago this past week is also the triumph of students who marched alongside the people of Selma and Montgomery, Alabama. The vindication of those who marched and fought against the Vietnam War and for the rights of people to determine their own destinies. It's a victory for neighborhood organizers, for women, for all minorities. At their time, all were mocked. All in their time felt marginalized and ridiculed. All, 40 years later, are vindicated. It is for you to determine the causes of your generation, but don't compromise the values you have learned. Resist orthodoxy, rebel against privilege, against entitlement, against indifference, against fear, and against the arrogance of power. In whatever role, large or small, that you play in your life, find something that's broken and fix it. The future is not a defined place one journeys to. It is an ever-changing destination shaped by the traveler and by the journey itself. The pathways to the future are not trails in the fields and woods that are waiting to be discovered. The pathways to the future are not discovered, they are made. Thank you for the honor you have given me. It's a privilege to be here. Above all, good luck and be careful out there.